Hi there. So this is a reflection on the year that's just been, and looking forward to the winter time, what I'm going to do over the winter, what I'm hoping to achieve and what my goals will potentially be for next season. So I started the year, I was playing off a 19, my handicap was 18.6, I had went up 0.2 from the previous year, because the previous year I played at 18. I had a lesson with my golf pro, and we looked at my goals for 2020, and he's reckoned that I should be playing off with 14. He thought my swing was good enough, my game should be good enough to reflect that handicap, and that was my goal. Of course lockdown came along and that went out the window. I thought it's not going to happen. However, we got back into golf, I continued with lessons, and I played in a few competitions. In my first competition, my handicap stayed the same. In the second competition, it went up 0.1. And then there was another competition I played in, and I got a scratch 77. They cut me to 14.2, which was great. In fact, I'm forgetting something. I put in a supplementary card in between that, and I got cut to 17.2. Then they cut me to 14.2, and then a day after that they cut me to 13.2. Then I played in another competition and I scored a 97, net 84, which was ridiculous. And I went up to 13.3. So I finished the season at 13.3. I think there's maybe one more competition I can play in, but I don't know if I'm going to bother. And then I come to what I've done with my swing this year. Because of lockdown, I spent a bit of time in the garden, and probably posted videos of that, working on chipping and my swing. I got one of these golf nets, and a few years ago I got the Paul Wilson body swing technique. Never done anything with it, so I thought, like April, May, let's work on this body swing. And the reason I got it at the time was I could never hit the ball very far. And there's obviously a flaw in my swing and how I swing the golf club. Then it means I don't hit the ball very far. On average, looking at my swing carry, which I've got the SC200. If I look at a 7-iron, carry average on my swing on my 7-iron is 118 yards. And that's all, because I can't seem to get it down to anything more than that. My average swing speed is 70 miles an hour, 71 miles an hour actually. Average ball speed 191 miles an hour. Smash factor 1.27. That's my average. And if I look at driver, it's really even worse reading. Average carry is 148 yards. Average spring speed 76 mph. Average ball speed 110. Average smash factor 1.43. These aren't great figures. They're very poor. It means that when I've got a 400 yard par 4, I'm hitting a long club into the green, because my drive's only going much further than 200 yards, if I'm even getting 200 yards. Now, these are all figures from a range and range balls, so it's probably a bit less than what the reality is. If I was to get out on a course hitting balls with the balls that I play, my carry average might be up to 170, 180, who knows, on a driver. But the reason I took the Paul Wilson body swing was to hit the ball further. And although it's not allowed me to hit the ball further, because I hit the ball much the same so far, again I must be doing something wrong, because my average on, if I took our par 3/14 at the Royal Musselburgh, it's 127 yards to the middle of the green, and I can hit a 7-iron in the middle of the green. So my average there is probably between 122 to 127, around about that area. When I was at the American Golf last week, my average with my 7-iron was about 121. I think with the 7-iron fitted for me, it was about 125, 26, something like that. So I'm not hitting the ball as far as I would like to hit the ball, and that was my goal with the Paul Wilson. But what it has done for me is I'm much better at swinging the golf club. I'm less erratic. So it's definitely done that. It's not giving me what I wanted, but I'm less erratic. So the dilemma I have is I've got the next 5 months probably to work on my golf swing, whether it be at the back, at the golf range, whatever. Excuse me, in the house. What am I going to do? I had a look at the Zen. 2 things I looked at. One was the Zen by Marcus Bell, Zen Golf. Now, I've got 3 things. Go back, I've got 3 things. One's Marcus Bell Zen Golf. Talks about from the ground up how you move your body naturally to get the most out of your golf swing. 2, continue with Paul Wilson and see if I can find the flaw that I must have that stops me getting the distance that he claims you can get in the club head speed, the ball speed, all that sort of thing. There must be something. And just continue on that route, which is decent golf, not hitting the ball for miles, but I might at some point. Do Zen Golf, which is a bit different for Paul Wilson, hit the ball for miles, or do nothing. Just stick with what I have. A couple of exercises I did last night at the range, because I was at the range last night, and one was a step through, where it was something I seen, I'm sure it was Danny Maud, and it was definitely Chris Dennis. You address the ball, you take a step back to your right foot, and as you take a backswing, you step your left foot to where it should be and swing through. Now, as you've seen, my averages was 118, so last night I was probably hitting my 7 iron about 121 to 123 on the swing caddy, and then when I done the step through, I hit it 136. So my analysis of that is that I'm not getting enough pressure from my left foot in the back, my right foot in the backswing to my left foot when I'm swinging the club or playing the shot. Marcus Bell in the Zen Golf talks a lot about foot pressure on the feet. Where is your pressure? So that leads me down that path. But it shows me, if nothing else, it shows me that I can hit a 7 iron 136 yards. That was an extra 13 yards, 14 yards on average with one club. But you can't go to the golf course and do that move. You would, no Happy Gilmore, So that's something I'm going to have to think about. What am I going to do? How much time and effort am I going to put in? Another YouTube video I saw, and it was Chris Dennis, who I think Chris Dennis is excellent, and it was about course management. Better course management gets you better scores. A good short game gets you better scores. And if I keep with the swing that I've got and I can hit my driver a couple hundred yards, 210, maybe 230 on a good day, I can keep my iron play in the park, hit them good solid shots, maybe not going as a million miles, but hitting good solid shots, but having a really sharp short game. Am I going to return better scores next year and maybe get my handicap down even further? I don't think I'm ever going to be a single figure handicapper. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't hit the ball far enough for a start. So that means, am I wrong in thinking that? But that to me is, I'm not a single figure player. I've played with single figure players and they hit the ball a million miles. They're really good, much better than I'll ever be. So these are dilemmas I've got. Food for thought that I need to consider over the next few weeks to decide what my game plan is going to be through the winter months. I'm looking at, I've currently got this swing caddy. Okay, it's SC200. I've had it for a couple of years. I think it's very useful, but again the drawbacks is I use it at the range with range balls, so is it giving me true data? I don't know. When I hit short shots, it's not giving me true data. I was at the range last night and there was a flag, it was about 50 yards away, which for me is a half a swing with a gap wedge, which I did go to the flag, and this read 42.63. So no, it doesn't work on that. I'm looking at the SC300, which I believe gives you better data for short game, which is probably where I would like to be, although it's a lot of money. I'm not going to do that. Another thing I bought, because I'm going to be doing some work in the garden, I don't want to be taking clubs out of my bag, leaving them in the hut. I got a club off eBay. It's a Ben Ross HTX Type R. These came out in about 2016, I think. It's a 7 iron. It's got a KBS regular steel shaft. So it's a KBS 90. It was brand new. I'd never been, well, from what I can tell, I'd never been hit. And I hit it at the range last night. And I was hitting similar numbers as far as swing speed, ball speed goes, etc. to my own club, which is the Cobra F9 with a graphite shaft. But I was down about 4 yards, 5 yards on the carry. I was hitting this about 116, 117, down to 111 actually. But I was hitting it really good, I was hitting it really nice, it just didn't get the distance. And in all the fittings I've had, they've now said I'm a graphite shaft player. That probably tells me they're right, because it's a steel shaft, it's a lovely club, and I hit it really nice, but I just didn't hit it as far as I wanted. And that's going to be my club that I practice with at the range. It's a 7 iron, because it's the same length as the other my graphite ones, because I've got one length and I can use it in the garden. So that's the reason I bought that. So I'm going to be practicing with that. I've got to decide on the swing, what I'm going to do in my swing. Am I going to continue down the Paul Wilson route to see if I can get an answer to why I don't get the ball distance, the distance that I should get. I don't transfer my weight enough to get that, because I had all my weight on my left hand side when I went through the ball, got that 136 yards carry, and that's what I really want to be at. If you asked me now, and I was totally honest, that's what I want to be able to do every single time. I want to get that distance, because that means at the 14th, which is a par 327 yards, I could be hitting an 8 or a 9 iron into that. A bit more control, a bit more nearer the flag than a 7 iron. 7 iron's a bit much of a club. SC300, will I do that? I might. It depends how much I can get out in the garden, if I can get down to the practice range at the course, because that means I can take the SC300 up to the driving range and I can just chip and pitch, and I can get a more accurate reading for what I'm getting. So when I transfer that onto the course, I know what to do. I know it's 30 yards, right, this is my 30 yard shot. 30 yards carry, this is my 30 yards carry shot. You know, that's what I want to be able to do. So maybe I'll go down that route. Paul Wilson, I don't know. I might just reach out to Paul for a couple of last times and say, Paul, this is my shoe, this is my swing speed. It's always been my swing speed. How do I get that better? And I'm following your methodology. How do I improve on that? Let's see what he says. Anyway, I've rabbited on for long enough. I'm sure everybody's bored at their head. So let's see if I can make this into a video. And till next time.